For years, there have been whispers that Diddy had something to do with Biggie's death. And now it looks like those rumors might finally be confirmed.
Look at Big Murray. Do you believe he came to LA too soon after Tupac?
I don't know the temperature, but I can give my opinion. And the reason why I say I don't know the temperature because I was already in the county jail. But from what I hear from different people talking, you know, people talking in prison, people talk on the streets, people run their mouth. And if it was just, if it's true, I can't say if it was too soon for him to come to LA or they came to LA because they wanted to. I was told that he wasn't ready to come to LA. I was told that Puffy pretty much made him come to LA. And that puzzles me because rumor has it that all the different involvement of all the different rivals.
The murder of Christopher Wallace, better known as the notorious B.I.G. or Biggie Smalls, is still unsolved after all these years. On March 9, 1997, Biggie was shot and killed in a drive-by shooting in Los Angeles.
The world is numb today, stunned by the violent death of gangster rapper Notorious B.I.G. The tragedy happened here outside of the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles, where the rapper, also known as Biggie Smalls, was attending a Vibe magazine party for the Soul Train Awards. Now, shortly after midnight Saturday, Notorious B.I.G. left the party and got into his car when another car rolled by and shots rang out. At least 5 bullets ripped through the door, killing B.I.G., who was sitting in the passenger seat. Dozens of heavily armed cops arrived on the scene as word of the shooting spread. The bullet holes in Biggie's vehicle are mute testimony to the gang-style drive-by shooting that took the life of the Brooklyn-born rapper, whose real name is Christopher Wallace. Smalls was rushed in his bullet-riddled vehicle to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Dozens of fans, many overcome with grief, held a vigil at the hospital.
They've got a number of individuals that they're speaking to right now, and we're hopeful that we can resolve this matter relatively soon.
These are pictures of the 24-year-old Biggie at the Vibe party just hours before he was killed. Eerie images of a man who had no idea the violence.
Since that tragic night, people have had a lot of questions about what really happened. Some even believe that Biggie's close friend and mentor, Sean Diddy, Combs, may have played a role. Over time, theories have grown, with some blaming music industry rivalries, others pointing to corrupt cops, and even a few suggesting that there were secret plots behind the scenes in the hip-hop world. But until now, none of these theories have ever led to solid proof. Back in the 1990s, hip-hop was divided into two sides, the East Coast and the West Coast. Diddy was running Bad Boy Records out of New York, with Biggie as the label's top artist. On the West Coast, Suge Knight was in charge of Death Row Records, where Tupac Shakur was the biggest star. The tension between the two camps kept building. Things got really bad in 1994 when Tupac was shot in New York. He publicly blamed Diddy and Biggie, even though they both denied any involvement. Then, in 1996, Tupac dropped a fiery diss track called Hit 'Em Up, where he not only attacked Biggie, but also claimed he had a relationship with Biggie's wife, singer Faith Evans. At that point, the feud wasn't just about music. It got deeply personal. Later that same year, Tupac was shot and killed in Las Vegas. Just 6 months after that, Biggie was murdered too. Many fans believe the two killings were
Somebody shooting at you, your first reaction is not to get a description of them, but to take cover and duck.
Biggie was killed 6 months after Tupac Shakur died in a hail of bullets in Las Vegas. Two larger-than-life hip-hop artists, Biggie from the East Coast with Bad Boy Records led by Sean Combs, and Tupac from the West Coast with Death Row Records founded by Marion Suge Knight.
I was assigned to Biggie's case as a result of a reinvestigative effort by the LAPD.
Greg Kading is a retired LAPD detective. He was assigned in 2006 to the Biggie case after several leads had gone cold, including a lawsuit against the LAPD alleging that crooked cops David Mack and Rafael Perez were involved in the murder and cover-up. That lawsuit was later dropped. It's been so many years. Why hasn't this case been solved?
Well, if you were to ask me, I would say it is solved. I would say that it's solved, but unprosecuted. So this is one of the murder books.
After years of investigating this case, Kading says he can finally prove what many of Biggie's fans suspected. Their beloved Notorious B.I.G. was murdered in retaliation to the killing of Tupac. Kading alleges the hit was ordered from inside county jail.
At the time that Biggie Smalls was killed, Suge Knight was in the county jail. So in order for him to communicate with somebody on the street, he had to go through an intermediary, which was this female who was visiting him in jail.
On May 28, 2009, the LAPD and the FBI documented that woman's statement. Her identity is being protected. Kading says the woman worked out an agreement that nothing would be used against her.
But while she's telling us, she's got tears in her eyes, she's clearly frightened.
Kading says the woman would visit Knight pretending to be a legal assistant.
That allows her to go in, sit down with Suge, and have unmonitored visits. Deputies can't over-listen on the phone. They can't stand there and overhear the conversation. So that's how it was set up, so that she could have confidential conversations.
This LAPD statement says, quote, during more than one of these visits, Knight instructed Blank to help him coordinate the murder of Christopher Wallace.
He said that Suge told her, I want you to get a hold of Poochie, figure out what type of money it's going to cost, and tell him that this is what I want done. So there's a series of meetings. She goes and meets with Poochie. They agree on an amount. Suge makes the arrangement for that money to get transferred. She pays Poochie, and he goes and sets himself up at the Peterson Auto Museum and shoots and kills Biggie.
Poochie can be seen in this photograph with several friends, including Knight. His real name, Wardell Fowles, also known as Darnell Bolton.
So we knew that he was somebody who was dangerous, somebody capable of doing these things, but we didn't know it was him until the other co-conspirator confesses.
And by that time, it was too late. Fowles had been dead for years.
I know I made the call and had a conversation. If you're doing security, do you retire police? Or if you still cop, you're gonna have your firearm on you. Even if you didn't even have principal or what you were doing security for, you're gonna have your firearm on you to protect yourself first. After you doing security for Tupac, the best artist in the business ever, the most controversial, the most loudest, the more aggressive, and you're not gonna have your gun on you. I say that, and I look at that, and I say, wow. Then I look at the situation, like I said, I was in jail, but the situation, how they say it went down with Biggie, I feel bad for Puffy. He in that motherfucker cell cold, hungry as a mother, bored, probably nervous. At the same time, unless he was totally against Biggie, I feel his pain. And I'm not saying he against Biggie, but I think that according to this conversation and what people say and what people tell me, I was not there, couldn't see what happened, but the fact that I feel bad for Puffy because this your man right there.
Around that time, more and more people started looking at Diddy with suspicion. Some thought Biggie was planning to leave Bad Boy Records and start his own thing. That led some fans.
People that say Biggie was asking for him coming to LA so soon after Tupac got killed, and him getting on the radio rapping Long Kiss Goodnight.
Man, you get 100 people in the room, and out of the 100 people, probably 3 will say it was all right for Big to be in LA. 97% of those people who said he had no business in LA at that time. We all knew that. Why would Puff rent studio time? Come on, man, look. You gotta look at what people do, man. You know Pac just got killed. It ain't no kind of business Big was doing. Big couldn't even walk, he couldn't run. They was pushing him around in a wheelchair, brother. Why the hell would you rent studio time in LA for him to finish your
trial of Sean Diddy Combs, the surveillance video showing the alleged attack on Cassie Ventura in a Los Angeles hotel? Well, that video, it's taking center stage today. Jurors got a chance to hear from the hotel's former security supervisor earlier on today, and he testified about the $100,000 payoff that Combs made to purchase that incriminating video. Now, Combs does not deny that a transaction happened, but his attorneys say that he made the payment to avoid any negative press.
Fast forward to 2024, and things took a dramatic turn. Diddy's former bodyguard, Uncle Ron Smith, posted a video on TikTok that shook the internet. In it, he claimed that both Diddy and rapper Jay-Z had something to do with Biggie's death. According to Uncle Ron, Biggie had become too powerful and was ready to walk away from Bad Boy Records. He said that made
and Puffy wanted Biggie killed. Bottom line, you don't have to believe me, believe the facts. Here's a man that wanted to leave Bad Boy. He wanted to do his own thing. He mentioned several times how he was tired of being used and abused, that he was bigger than Bad Boy itself. Somebody, and we ain't gonna call no more names, dangled a bogus contract in front of his face so he wouldn't leave the company. How I know I was there. Another thing, Jay-Z wanted him out of the industry, period, so he could take over and be the biggest hip-hop artist around. And I wonder who's the biggest hip-hop artist today. It's all business, folks. And unfortunately, you as a fan, most of you won't understand, but it was all about the business. And the two billionaires have done what they seeded to do. I was offered $30,000 to perform a hit on Biggie Smalls. March 1st of 1997, I was approached by Diddy to perform a hit on one of his artists. Finding out that he wanted all the rights to all his catalogs. I turned him down because I also found out that very night that Biggie had plans of leaving Bad Boy. Biggie should have never been in California to promote an album. With a broken fibula bone, who can barely walk, to go to another studio when Diddy has his own studio in New York.
Made Diddy feel threatened, and that Jay-Z also saw Biggie as someone standing in his way.
He is pure evil. He has a very nasty disposition. He treats everybody like crap. Every single employee he's ever had, he and his mother have looked down on them, belittled them, talked to them like they were the lowest scum on the earth, so he could always have his way. Amar, Muhammad, and Suge Knight are mere. They took the blame for something that was already getting ready to be in motion. It just happened at an earlier time.